Hi guys, welcome. This is my first ever video on booktube and I thought what better way to start off this channel other than doing Steph Bohrer, aka the queen of booktubes, recommendation tag. I love this. This is very reminiscent of 2014 YouTube, which is honestly my YouTuber dreams. So I feel like so well right now. I'm super excited to do this. I've got a bunch of books to talk about. So without further ado, the first question of this tag is a book you tell people is your favorite, and that book for me would be Sally Rooney's Normal People. I feel like there is no introduction needed for this book. Everyone and their mothers have read this book, but I tell people this is my book. This is my favorite book because it genuinely is my favorite book. I will be defending this book till my grave. I know this is like a turn off for a lot of people because there's no speech marks, but I feel like that adds to their story. Like it almost blurs the lines of reality and what's in their mind. I also love the characters in here so much. I've never related to a character more in my life than I related to Connell. I feel like I found this book when I really needed it. I read it at the end of my first year of university and I felt everything Connell felt. That therapy scene, me. That's exactly, I felt so validated when I read this. You all have to read this. If you haven't read this, what are you doing? Genuinely, what are you doing? Okay, the second question is a book that is your guilty pleasure. I have 3 because I have a lot of guilty pleasures. So the first book I'm going to talk about is The Viscount Who Loved Me by Julia Quinn. Here's the thing, I am a Bridgerton girly. I love Bridgerton, the TV show, so much so I went and read The Viscount Who Loved Me after watching season 2 because I loved Kate and Anthony. Let me tell you, the book is not the same. You will understand why this is a guilty pleasure if you've read that book. I genuinely have no words to describe this book. It was entertaining, but at the same time it was so bad. Like, I don't want to hate on it because it's entertaining, but compared to the show, like if you like the show and you think the book's gonna be the same quality of storytelling, I'm so sorry, but it's completely different. And also the B scene, that's all I'm gonna say. And then the next book I want to talk about is Bad Girl Reputation by Elle Kennedy. The reason why this is a guilty pleasure is solely because this title. It's just so juvenile, like Bad Girl Reputation. She couldn't have come up with a different title. I also feel like Elle Kennedy's writing is very reminiscent of Wattpad. I mean, I grew up on Wattpad, so I can't really complain, but it's not like the most great writing ever. I do really like this series though. This is the Avalon Bay series. This is the second book in the Avalon Bay series. The third one just came out recently, and I'm super excited to read that one, but it's set like at a beach town and my favorite books are like summery beach reads. I mean, you can't really hate it. The title is just really cringe, so yeah, I cringe every single time I look at this on my bookshelf. Bad Girl Reputation. And then my final guilty pleasure book is Twilight. Is Twilight still embarrassing? I feel like the Twilight hate has died down. Like, I feel like it's socially acceptable to like Twilight now. Do I even need to explain? This is like one of the best selling novels of all time. I mean, Edward Cullen, Bella Swan. It's not great. It is a cultural reset though. Okay, moving on. The third question of this tag is a book everyone loved but you didn't. I feel like I'm about to be crucified for these. The first one I want to start off with is Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. As you can tell from my first book, my obsession with normal people, you would think I'm a Sally Rooney stan. And you are correct, I am a Sally Rooney stan. But she, you know, no one's perfect. Sometimes you write this. Genuinely, I don't even think I finished this. I think I got like, I don't know, I had like this much left. I read this book after I read Normal People and also Beautiful World, Where Are You? And those books were amazing, but this one was a hard miss. And then the next book that everyone loved and I didn't, I will actually be crucified, but it is A Happy Place by Emily Henry. I try so hard to be an Emily Henry girly, but alas, I am not. There's something about her writing that I don't like. I don't know what it is. I feel like it's not very atmospheric for me, even though, I don't know. I genuinely feel like I miss out on not being an Emily Henry stan because everyone had so much fun reading her books. I didn't like Harriet and Wynne is that his name? Wynn's relationship. I also didn't really like the friend group that much. Like, I understand the drama and the dynamic between a friend group that's dying but you're trying to keep it alive, but I feel like I didn't really like them. The fourth question in this tag is a book you read the fastest, and that for me would be Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. This book, I actually listened to it on Audible in like one day, and it is so cute. I love Wes and Liz. They're probably like my favorite book couple. They're so cute. This is a YA rom-com where Wes is trying to help Liz get with her crush, and obviously they get together. It's so cute. It is the most like rom-com film book you will ever read. It felt like I was watching a movie. It also references all the iconic 90s, early 2000s rom-coms. And one very surprising element that I loved was Helena. She is Liz's stepmother. She is Lorelai Gilmore, and if you know me, I am the biggest Gilmore Girl fans. She is Lorelai, and that was so much fun to read. For number 5, a book that deserves more hype. For this question, I put Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. My jaw was on the floor the entire time. It is so well written. It is a YA story about a girl who goes back to this beach town she used to live in, and she has to repair a lot of relationships that she left behind. There's a really sad element to this book, so honestly, prepare to cry. This book took me by surprise. I thought it was going to be like a fun summer, like almost the Summer I Turned Pretty YA book. It wasn't, but this book really did, like, it's really underrated. It really surprised me in the themes. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's really good, and you should really go read it if you haven't read it already. I feel like no one talks about it anymore. It did come out in 2012, which is quite a while ago, but it's still a great book. Number 6, a book that is becoming a movie / TV show. I have 3 because I am so excited for all of these adaptations. A little about me: I'm actually a screen production major, so I love film probably more than I love books. I am so excited. I actually haven't read 2 of them. I've only read 1 of them, so these are on my TBR. The first book I want to talk about is Foe by Ian Reid. This book is being adapted into a film by the same name, starring Saoirse Ronan, Paul Mescal, Aaron Pierre. I mean, Foe is a sci-fi novel about a couple who live on a farm, but one day they get approached by this stranger who basically gives them this crazy proposal of one of them going up to space to live. Saoirse Ronan and Paul Mescal, probably my top 2 favorite actors. I'm so excited for this movie. It is coming out so soon, so I have to read this book ASAP, but I am so excited. The next book I want to talk about is Strangers by Taichi Yamada. I'm so excited for this one. I honestly don't know much about it, but it is being adapted, or it has been adapted into the film All of Us Strangers, starring, get this, Paul Mescal again and Andrew Scott. I have seen, girl, calm down. I have seen some stills from this film. Beautiful. It is a Japanese horror story. That is all I know about it, but I will be reading and I'll be staying tuned. I am waiting for it to be closer to Halloween because I want to read it when it's like spooky. But yes, that is on my very like near TBR. And then the last book I want to talk about is Malibu Rising by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This is being adapted into a Hulu series, I believe. This is one of my favorite books in the world, and I really love the 80s beach Malibu atmosphere, and I'm so excited to see how they will translate that on screen. I also love every single one of these characters, so I'm so excited to see who they cast. This is my favorite Taylor Jenkins Reid book, and as we all know, they did really well with the Daisy Jones and the Six TV show, so I have very high hopes for this. The next question I have is a book you've reread the most, and not to be annoying, but it's normal, people. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this one down because I already talked all about it. Number 8, a book from a genre you don't typically read. I have Conversations with Love by Natasha Lunn. This is a non-fiction book It is a series of interviews with different people who all write about love and basically their relationship with the idea of love. It isn't just about romantic love, it's also friendship, family, self-love. It wasn't life-changing, but I did love listening to all these different people talk about how much they love love, and it was just so cute. I love this book. Number 9, a book that deserves all the hype it gets. For this, I put The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I couldn't think of a more hyped book that I thought deserved its hype than this book. Yes, I understand this book is cringe, but it's entertaining, and that's all that matters. Ali Hazelwood, she does write basically the same story every single time with the same characters, but do I still read? Yes, because she's got it down. This is what I mean. Like, books like The Love Hypothesis is what I want when I just want like a silly little rom-com to giggle about, you know? And I also do love the science settings in her books. I find it very unique, and it's very fun, and the drama is great. Okay, 10th question. A book you usually recommend when asked to give a recommendation. Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. If you know, you know. This book is about a fictional 1970s rock band. Is it a rock band? It's basically like Fleetwood Mac fan fiction. No, it's actually so much more than that. It is written in such a unique way. It's basically written as if it's a series of interviews or like a docu-series, and I always recommend this book when people ask me, because first of all, the drama's great, the relationships are great, the plot twist is also great, the setting, the 1970s. Also, there is a TV show, so if they don't want to read a book, tell them to watch the TV show, because that one is also great. Oh my god, the album Aurora, probably like my most played album this year. It is so good. So basically it's like a fictional band, but they released, like for the TV show, they released an album. The River is my favorite song, and Look at Us Now. And you know what song I love that everyone hates on? Look Me in the Eye. Yeah, I love Look Me in the Eye, and I will never apologize. Okay, next question is a book that is your favorite characters. I have 4 books in this. If you know me, you know that I love character-driven books. Those are my favorite. First one, obviously, once again, Normal People. I'm sorry for always bringing this up. You're probably sick of Normal People by now, but Connell is me. Also, I love Marianne too. I don't relate to her, but she is an amazing character. Love this one. Malibu Rising. My favorite characters, Nina and June. I will die for those girls. I love them. Honestly, I strive to be Nina. She is one of the best people in this world. She's not even real, but I love her. Next one is a classic, Pride and Prejudice, Jane Austen. I mean, how can you not love the Bennet family? This is the original. She is the original rom-com. Also, how can you not love Bingley and Jane? I also love Mr. Darcy. I think he's very relatable because I have social anxiety. Also, I want to talk about Miss Bingley. Everyone hates on her. She was barely in the 2005 adaptation, but she is so entertaining. Every single scene with Miss Bingley, I eat it up. And then the last book, the original girl boss, Jane Eyre. I mean, there is a reason why this book is just her name. She is probably the best character ever written. She is so independent. She is so gracious, so kind. This is not a romance book. This is a character book. This is Jane Eyre. Mr. Rochester, Jane Eyre, she is my biggest role model. I love Jane Eyre. Okay, number 12, a book you wish you could live in. I'm so excited for this one because it is The Summer of Broken Rules by K.L. Walther. If you've read this book, you will know how fun this book is. Basically, it is set during summer on Martha's Vineyard at a wedding, and every single summer this like community of people, so like friends and families, all play this game called Assassin, and the main girl, she kind of teams up with a guy from the groom's side of the family, and it's like a little romance, and it's so cute. The friends, the families, the weather, the setting. I wish I could live in this book. It is very, I don't know, like Outer Banks without the crazy drama, the Some Item Pretty without the sad drama. It is so much fun, and I genuinely wish I lived in this book. Okay, number 13, a book you thought you would hate but ended up loving. I actually have two very different books to recommend. The first one is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Zelda Fitzgerald. The only reason why I read this book was because it was in my physical TBR and it was like this long, and I thought I've never read The Great Gatsby, so might as well do it now when I have nothing else to read. When I was reading this, I didn't really care for it, but as soon as this back cover closed, the ending. I do love this book, but there is a lot to unpack. Like Jay, Nick, Daisy, how do I feel about all of them? When I finished this book, I immediately loved Jay and Nick. Daisy, not so much, but after, in hindsight, I understand Daisy. Do I agree with the things she does? No. But do I agree with everything Jay does? No. That man is kind of psycho. But I appreciate his hopefulness. And then the second book couldn't be more different. Not necessarily the score, but the Off-Campus series by Al Kennedy. No offense, but I was judging a book by its cover. This ugly ass cover. Only reason I had even read these books is because it's my sister's favorite series, so I thought I had to give it a go. Do I love these books? No, but I am 3 books deep, so they are entertaining. I honestly don't know what to say about them. I just want to say that I don't like Garrett Graham. He is a misogynist. I do like Logan and Dean though, so hopefully Tucker, because I haven't read the 4th book, hopefully Tucker is not a misogynist like Garrett Graham. Number 14, a book that made you cry. I have 28 Summers by Ellen Hildebrand. If you have read this book, you will know how sad the ending is. It is basically a story set on Nantucket, which is a small island of Massachusetts. And it is about Mallory and Jake, who have a 28-year-long affair, and the ending is so devastating. I love the way Ellen Hildebrand writes. I don't know why. It is so captivating. I love Mallory so much. She's one of my favorite characters. Think Taylor Swift, August, Mallory and Jake. This book is like one of my top 3 books of all time. It's probably my second favorite book after Normal People. This book is so good. Please go read it if you want to cry, but also if you just want like a beautiful story, please go read it. And then the final question of this tag is a book you wish you could read for the first time. The Summer I Turned Pretty. I mean, everyone has seen the show, everyone's read these books. It is such a fun time, but specifically the beginning of the second book, the way my jaw dropped. I was doing my laundry, I was hanging up my laundry, and when she said that line, if you've read it, you know. When she said that line, everything stopped, okay? I understand why it has a cult following and why it got turned into a TV show. I love this. It is just such a fun time. All the summer vibes. YA, love triangle. Are these the best written stories, books I've ever read? No, but they're so fun. I love that drama. I love that Belly, Conrad, Jeremiah drama. Okay, it's so fun. I feel like it's just like the community that has been built off these books that I really love. I also like binge read all 3 of them in like 2 days. They're very, very short though. Like you could read this like in one sitting. But yeah, I remember just listening to it actually on Audible again. I am an audio book girly. I remember listening to these, and Lola Tung actually narrate all of the books. It is basically the blueprint of every single book I want to read during the summertime. So that is it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. I am still very nervous in front of the camera, so hopefully this video isn't painful to watch. But yeah, please let me know if you have any other suggestions on what I should do. I'm thinking of doing a summer TBR and also like beach read recommendations, because it is actually becoming summer in the southern hemisphere where I live. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye!